So here's the deal. I've made mistakes. So today we're going over the 5 biggest mistakes that I've made in the last decade plus of being in the gym so that you can avoid these mistakes and you can fast track your progress.
Better took those risks, one of my fists, we fire starters. One out of a million will reach those heights. Always in the field and then I won't deny that work. Never could toss, look in my eyes, I'm on the rise.
Before we hop into the 5 mistakes, guys, if you guys are new to the video, my name is Jordan, and I post weekly fitness content to help you get in the best shape of your life. I show you how you can blend strength training with cardio, and specifically running, not only to help you build strength, build muscle, improve your cardiovascular system, but also just to improve your overall health. So if you're interested in content like that, make sure that you subscribe so you don't miss out on the content that I'm posting weekly. We're gonna hop right into this list of 5, and the first mistake that I have made is one that a lot of people fall into the trap of. And tell me if this sounds like you. The first mistake that I've made is not selecting goal. And what I mean by that is there will be times where you may think that, hey, I want to gain some weight and gain some muscle, so I should start a bulk. There might be times where you're like, I feel a little fluffy, I need to start a cut. Or there's times where you just kind of free fall in between both of these. You might spend a month in a bulk, a month in a cut, and then a month of kind of like doing whatever. And the problem with this is there's never a stair step of progression. So the first mistake that you can learn from is make sure that you select a goal and that you give yourself enough time to reach that goal. So for example, if you're looking to build strength, build muscle, you need to get into a bulking phase. You need to get into a caloric surplus. You need to focus on getting stronger. You need to focus on progressively overloading. You need to add more volume over time. And you need to spend at least 6, 9, 12 months in that bulk to make it effective. Where I see a lot of people go wrong specifically with a bulk is they might spend like a month or 2 in a bulk and maybe they're not selecting the best food choices and they put a little body fat on and they get scared and they go right back to a cutting phase. And that like month or 2 that you spent in that bulk, that's not enough time to see actual continued sustained progress. Also, if we look at like a diet or a cutting phase, a lot of times what people will do is they get so amped up and they get so excited and they cut everything cold turkey. Say that they're not working out at all, they're gonna work out 6 days a week. Say that they're eating McDonald's and they're eating fast food every day, it's no more fast food ever. The extremes is really where you're not gonna see the progress for a long term, or you're not gonna be able to consistently see that progress. And that is the main thing, is consistency. Every single success story always comes back to it. If you are consistent and you are honed in on your goal and you've selected a goal, that's where you're going to see the best results possible. And that's when you're going to start to see those positive changes, not only in your body composition, but the way that you think, the way that you feel. And overall, it's just going to create this positive flywheel, and that's what really leads to the progress. So first mistake, main takeaway is make sure that you select a goal and that you are hyper-focused on that goal and you're giving yourself enough time to accomplish that goal. Don't sign up for a marathon that you're going to run next week. It's not going to go well. Don't go into a bulking phase and eat pizza every day, and then a month later, like, oh man, I need to cut. You're not gonna be able to see consistent progress by doing that. The second mistake that I have made, and I guarantee that most people out there have done this or are currently doing this. The second mistake I've made is not doing any cardio. Now, the way that I train currently is the way that I feel the best about myself, my body composition, my overall health, and overall I feel my best when I'm following a hybrid style program where I'm mixing running and strength training every single week to not only build muscle, build strength, but also just improve my health, my cardiovascular system, and just become a more efficient runner. Now, I'm not saying that running has to be your choice of cardio. It could be something like biking, walking, rowing. You could do interval style workouts. Maybe you like swimming. There's a lot of different ways that you can incorporate cardio into your program, but if you are not doing cardio, this is a huge mistake. Even if you're trying to gain weight, even if you're trying to build muscle, you need to be doing cardio in your program. And by doing so, you're gonna improve your overall health, you're gonna improve your heart's function, you're gonna improve the amount of intensity that you can have within your workouts, and that's gonna lead to more strength progress, it's gonna lead to more building of muscle tissue, and overall, it's just gonna help you in the gym. So if you're not doing cardio, you need to be doing it in your program. I don't care if you're trying to cut, I don't care if you're trying to maintain, I don't care if you're trying to bulk, you need to be doing cardio in your program. I would start off with at least 2 days a week. A lot of times when people think of cardio, it's synonymous with the word of like challenging and hard. And I'm not saying that the cardio has to be like sprint intervals every single time, or you should leave that cardio session just completely wrecked. There should be some sort of building progress. And that's what I'm posting also weekly, is to show you how I'm trying to improve at running. And I'm trying to do it in a very methodical and thought out way. But that's the main thing, is try to focus on getting better. Try to focus on, okay, I did a 15-minute run the other day. I'm going to try a 20-minute run today. Or I did a 15-minute row workout. I'm going to try a 20-minute row workout. If there's slow progression, just like in our strength training with your cardio, you're going to see that slow progress. And the consistency, again, there's the consistency. If you're consistent with it, say that every week you just got a 0.5% or 1% better, and you compound that over the course of 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, imagine where you could be. So consistent cardio is going to lead to consistent progress, is going to lead to overall improved health. You're going to feel better. You're going to perform better in the gym. You're going to be able to maintain better body composition levels, and overall just going to optimize your health. And at the end of the day, that's what we're all after, is our sole goal and our main goal should be to improve our health, improve our health span, and our longevity. So second mistake, make sure that you do your cardio no matter what phase you're in. Bulking, cutting, maintaining, do your cardio. The third mistake, and I have been guilty of this one, and I know a lot of you have too as well, and the third mistake that I made along the way that I've learned from is excessive tracking. And what I mean by this is when you're getting into your workouts and you're really getting into prioritizing your health and your fitness, you kind of go all in. It's like, oh, this is amazing, and I'm going to count every macro, and I'm going to really focus on going all in. And there's nothing wrong with being all in. Every goal that I set, I'm always all in on, I'm hyper-focused on, and I'm committed to. But the problem is when it becomes all-consuming, and it becomes a pace that you can't sustain. And there really lies the problem and the mistake, is if you're doing something that is not sustainable, it's probably not the thing that you should be doing. And for me, excessive tracking was something that way, where there was a phase in my life where borderline and may have had a eating disorder. I was tracking every single macro, and I was avoiding food, and I was really thinking of food as good and bad. And that really created a lot of anxiety, a lot of social stress in certain social situations. And that's a huge mistake that you can learn from. And I'm a huge believer that you can practice balance. Yes, 80, 85, 90% of the time, you should be structuring your diet around whole foods. You should be focusing on getting lean proteins, good carbohydrate sources. You should be consuming enough vegetables. You should be making sure that you're having enough water throughout the day. All these things really matter and are going to create a lot of the results. But the other 10% of the time, if you're going out to dinner with your family, or if you're having a treat, or you're celebrating an anniversary or a birthday or something, it's not going to derail your progress. And when you think of it like this, where you're thinking of allowing yourself to let go of the reins a little bit, it creates a lot of relief, and it creates a lot of confidence in your program, and it allows you to sustain the program. Back to consistency. Sustaining your program and being consistent with it over the course of 1, 2, 5, 10, 20 years is what's really going to create the progress. And if you're celebrating your anniversary with your husband or your wife or your significant other, and you want to have a sweets or you want to have a drink, I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that you need to realize that there's certain situations where you can allow yourself to enjoy, as long as it's moderate, as long as it's in moderation and it's not overindulgent. And by allowing yourself to have that, you're going to have less of those crazy benders that you might have if you're 100% eating like super strict, tracking every calorie, and really focusing on tailoring everything in and the perfect macro program and getting everything to fit. It's super stressful, it's not sustainable, and it's something that you can learn from. That I've made that mistake, is find balance in your program. No matter what it is, if you can have balance, it's going to be sustainable. And if it's sustainable, you're going to be able to stay with that pace for years and see a lot of progress from it. The fourth mistake, and this kind of leads me and builds off of mistake number 3, the fourth mistake that I've made is sacrificing my health or sacrificing my time with my family or friends or social situations because I'm so all consumed and all focused on my health and my fitness. And what I mean by this is, like I said, there were times where I can think back to when I was in high school. I was so consumed by my fitness And there was actually a time where I went to my friend's house to stay the night, and I think it was like a sophomore or junior in high school. I packed my breakfast. It was like protein shake, oatmeal. That's not bad. No, that's nothing crazy. I packed my scale so that I could weigh myself, because I weighed myself every single day. There were a lot of unhealthy habits and behaviors that I was doing. And that linked me kind of off of that third point is, if you are being all consumed by your fitness, it's not going to be sustainable, and it's not going to provide you the sort of satisfaction that if it's all in or if it's positive, because eventually you're going to associate that negative concept with your fitness, and you can start to resent it, and you can start to be not consistent with it. So the main thing that I want you to focus on is make sure that you're prioritizing your health, that make sure that you're getting enough sleep at night, that you're not sacrificing that. Make sure that you're prioritizing your family. So for me, I have a wife, I have 3 boys, and where I'm at in my life, they are a massive priority to me. My time with my family is worth everything. And I want to take every moment that I have with them and make sure that I'm really present. And when I'm focused on solely just my fitness, that's hard to do. Or when I did my cutting phase a couple months ago, where I was training to get in the best shape of my life for my wedding, and I was on the side of all consumed. And I did feel like, at the end of the day, my macros were low. I was on a caloric deficit for an extended period of time where I didn't feel like I had energy, or didn't feel like I had enough to give to my family at the end of the day. So really ask yourself, is what I'm doing in line with who I am and the goals that I have? And is there any way that I can prioritize the important things in my life? Or am I prioritizing the important things in life? And for me, that's going to be my family. That's going to be my health. That's going to be my friends. Making sure that I make that a priority in my life. And that's going to be up to you. Ask yourself, what is a priority to you? Are you kind of prioritizing those priorities, or are you not? And if you're not, you need to make some changes, let go of the reins a little bit. And I promise you, you're going to be able to maintain your fitness, not being all consumed, and it's just going to have a positive association with it. And again, it's going to be something that you can sustain and be consistent with. The 5th and final mistake that I have made, that I guarantee a lot of people have made this one too, or you might currently be making it, is a lack of mobility, flexibility, and corrective work in my program. If I think back to every little injury and tweak and little injury that I've had, most of the times it's due to either a buildup of tightness, stiffness, lack of mobility work, or it's built up from like an overuse type injury where I was just being stubborn. A lot of times, these little tweaks, these little injuries, little compensations that we get can be avoided if we stay on top of our mobility and our corrective work. So when we're going to the gym, we're lifting weights, we're building muscle. Every time that we contract those muscles and every time they get sore, we're going to start to stiffen up. And we need to make sure that we are keeping our muscles and our body moving the way that it's intended to move. So for me, example, I have very tight lats and I have very tight hips. And I know if I don't stay up on my mobility work with those areas, that's where I'm going to start to feel pains in areas that I shouldn't be feeling. I'm going to start to feel my knees hurt when I'm running. I'm going to start to feel problems getting overhead on shoulder presses or pull-up movements, stuff like that. So make sure that you're prioritizing your mobility work, your corrective work, and your flexibility work. For me, I always go through a full dynamic warm-up every single workout. That's something that I'm a firm believer in. So I'll typically start off, depending on the workout, I'll start off with a couple minutes of just light conditioning work, whether it's a jog or a row or bike or ski or I push the sled, just to get the heart rate up. But then from there, I go through a sequence of 10 to 15 really dynamic movements that are going to help me prime my body, get the muscles ready that I'm about to train, and really just focus on making sure that everything is moving the way that it's supposed to. And then at the end of the workout, once you're done with your strength training or your running, that is the time to hold your static stretches. So before the workout, we're looking at more dynamic movements, things like world's greatest stretch, things like inchworms, things like squats, lunges, these types of dynamic movements. At the end of the workout, we're going to go to more of our static stretches. So things like chair stretch, pigeon pose, quad stretch, doing some banded lat stretches or banded chest stretches, or frog pose, holding a lot of different positions and really letting those muscles stretch back out. That's going to set you up to keep yourself healthy, keep yourself in the gym. And again, it all comes full circle back to consistency. If you can consistently stay healthy, you're going to be able to hit consistent workouts, make consistent progress, and really achieve the goals that you want to see, not just this year, but in 2 years, 5 years, and 10 years from now. So make sure that you're prioritizing your corrective work, your mobility work, and your flexibility work. So those are my 5 biggest mistakes that I have made over the course of the last decade plus that I want you to learn from. Now, I'm interested in your mistakes that you've made. Let me know down in the comment section below. I'd love to hear some of the mistakes that you've made so we can just all focus on not making these mistakes and just grow. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button. I'm gonna leave a couple other videos for you to watch on the screen here next. Make sure you check those out. We are gonna be going through a full bulking series coming up here soon. So I'm gonna be posting my half marathon video next week. So once we hit that half marathon, is officially gonna end our half marathon prep, and we're gonna go into a full bulking series where I'm gonna show you how to effectively put on strength, effectively put on muscle, minimize fat gain, and really just pack on some muscle and some size. So stay tuned for that one. I'm super excited to be putting content out about bulking. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys in the next one.
Look in my eyes.